fine laning phase up against the Ornn. Of course, Ornn can come out ahead in the trades, but the thing is, Kayle gets a free farm laning phase to become that late game monster that we know she could. Of course, is a big threat in the side lane. No one's going to be able to match her if TS want to opt for a 1-4 setup. But of course, also very good in the team fights. You have a ton of damage to take down a frontline tank like an Ornn.
There's a lot to deal in the front line here as we go into our match of the week. Top Esports and JDG, our spring final went to 5 games. I want 3 here in the regular season between our 2 best LPL teams of 2020.
I also do like the Kayle pick up against the Kayn specifically because, you know, he ults into someone, you give them that shield, and...
You know what this reminded me of from Top Esports? When Jackie Love was on IG and when we saw them at Worlds with the Kayle-Kai'Sa combination where she ults into the back line and you get the Kayle ult.
Well, exactly, right? Because you're right. It's a very similar composition where luckily you don't have that much threat, I'd say, from the LeBlanc or the Kayn with the Kayle and the Lissandra there, right? Either of them jump in. You have the safety coming from the Kayle. You have all the CC coming out from Knight. And this comp is very much, pretty much 4 people peeling for Jackie Love.
Lyric? Nice comps. We got very different drafts than I guess we've kind of been used to in the past couple of weeks. Or should I say different picks to add into the setup. As
we definitely do.
We'll be keeping our eyes on Kanavi. It's been a while here in the LPL since we've last seen Kayn. I believe it was Ning who picked it up last time around in 2019.
I was not here, so...
No, you were not. But this was Ning's pocket pick, as I didn't know Kanavi had it in. He's gone for Conqueror this game around. And a lot of the time when we see Kayn, we go towards Red Kayn, which is the earlier upgrade.
It's very interesting, too, because, again, I feel like pro players are usually pretty predictable in the sense that they'll tend to pull out on stage more often than not what they've been spamming in solo queue. I mean, he's not been playing this, so just having the confidence to bring it out, or maybe having, you know, another second ID that he has been playing this on.
But I do want to talk about it a bit more because for Kanavi, we know that Kayn is much about skirmishing, picking up the orbs early so he can get a powerful upgrade. Otherwise, you know, get towards that 20-minute point without an upgrade and you see a very weakened Kayn.
You still are a champion that wants some levels under your belt. I don't expect him to want to go and duel Karsa in the early game. Of course, Karsa also having the press the attack, so going to be a bit stronger in these early one-on-ones. But once he does hit that level 6, does get that jungle item, he does clear insanely fast and going to be able to look for these skirmishes.
As we're getting top lane Kayle set up here from Top Esports, as Zoom's going to be engaged on. Pillar placement is nice, but Zoom waits here. Don't believe he has Searing Charge, and he's going to get slowed on down. Bit of damage to come across, and Caster commits and just chomps him down. Zoom didn't flash as Kanavi was coming up as well.
And Zoom does have TP, so it does seem like JDG still want to opt into a 2v2.
Right on the minion wave. They're not going to be able to push this. 369 is still level 2 as Kanavi ready. 3 here, misses on the W, but 369 kites this out nicely with a Bellows Breath. Half health is the Kayle, but 369 surviving and Kanavi walking away.
It's actually really funny that we're having a 2v2 at 3 minutes where there is an Ornn, Kayle, and Kayn involved, and they're still going. I mean, right now TS are just trying to push out that wave, but...
369 has healed up a little bit as well. Used his corrupting potions. Kanavi spotted out once again, of course. That's a big wave brewing as the bottom side denied by Lumao. It's only going to be a small amount of trading, but Ignite dropped on down and Loken committing forward, but they won't be able to force Yu Yanjia out of this lane.
No, still good amount of damage. They are going to be able to get some damage onto the turret itself.
This is continuing in the top side. You know what? Let's transition towards mid. As Kanavi still there poking down Karsa. What's those orbs? This teleport's being used. Zoom has cornered him out, but I think this could be good for Top Esports as Zoom. Is he doing enough damage? Of course, he's an Ornn, but Smite helps Karsa. He picks up another kill. Kanavi gets the help of his support in Yagao, but Karsa's flashed away. He's walking away. Kanavi just needs to hit him one more time, but 369 flashes on top, away with the Glacial Path and the help. Kanavi can't get him, and 369 picks up a kill all down the toilet here for JDG.
And that was great coming out from TS. They have this comp that scales so beautifully with the Kayle and the Kai'Sa already having the gold lead, but we saw the benefit of having the Trundle in the early skirmishes as well as the press the attack. Again, once you do proc that press the attack, your allies also deal more damage as well. So point. Here we see the skirmish starting off is attacking that Ornn. Gets a bit low, comes out with a smite, which is great. Press the attack, proccing right there. And then great from Knight to follow up. Yagao having nothing left in his kit, and Karsa having just enough movement speed. 369 being quite the bro to flash and get that slow down, and easy.
Easy, yeah. Well, you're clapping after that one, aren't you? 1,300 gold lead here for Top Esports in the early game. And I know we didn't talk about this in draft, but what Kale adds to the comp with a Kai'Sa Lissandra, and how this comp setup can be in the late game. Top Esports with an early lead could be disastrous for JDG.
I feel like in the late game, you're not really going to take advantage of the split push pressure from the Kale too much, just from the fact that JDG have a very easy time of grouping up and forcing Kale to be there. But in straight up front-to-back 5v5s, I don't feel bad as TS. You have this Kai'Sa's going to burn through the front line. We've already talked about that. If LeBlanc or Kane jump in, you not only have all the CC coming out from Knight to dissuade that, but you also have the ultimate coming out from Kale to save Jackie Love. Karsa also going to provide a lot of peel with the pillar, also his ult for Zoom. So it feels like TS's draft just has every way to answer what JDG want to do.
And you're in a position right now where, as for Karsa, who has 2 kills and has picked up the skirmishing smite early, and it fed Kale early game in this first game, and Knight coming up to the top side, Top Esports have control.
I want to slow down with saying a fed Kale. Look at his items. It's
One
not really
kill.
turning into anything
All
yet.
right, well, it might turn 2 because Zoom's now locked against the wall without his ultimate, and he doesn't have Bellows Breath. Karsa has 3 kills, and I will say, Karsa is fed.
And it's interesting, too, because it's not even about the lane manipulation coming out from Knight. He did just give up 1 or 2 waves in the mid lane, say, hey, it doesn't matter. I'm going to move up, find this kill. Does look like that earlier skirmish did end up with Yagao losing some CS as well, since despite that Knight just gave up that wave, they're still even in CS.
We'll say splitting the map, though, great for Top Esports here as Kanavi does pick up the Dragon towards the bottom side, and Jackie Love and Yu Yan Judd taking a safer path through the river to get back into this bottom side.
Still, look at that. Both side waves in a good state for TS, pushing back for both. Of course, TS pushed top into JDG's turret, so that's back. And we look, this wave is stacking up for TS to catch in just a moment.
So what needs to be forced here? Did JDG need to make some shift in game plan and start being more aggressive, or...
Remember how in draft we said LeBlanc typically wants to be paired up with something that's strong in the 2v2 scenario?
Yeah.
Again, Kane LeBlanc isn't exactly what you think of, right? You'd want something either more bursty like the Lee Sin, a Lee Sin, even though double AP is not too good, or the Jarvan, which does have CC to set up that chain. So I don't feel like we're at a point where JDG's mid-jungle can really force anything. Then we're in an awkward position where we're playing around side lanes, Kai'Sa Nautilus very safe. So your only real option is looking up towards that top side, and that's the side that's fallen far behind.
Side that Karsa's been prioritizing is Yu Yan Jia going to get hooked in here. This is an advantage for JDG. They burst down the Nautilus, and Loken picks up his first kill of the game. Now this is a window that JDG can play through.
Yeah, they can look to try and use this priority and maybe invade TS's bot side jungle, but it's already cleared. Actually, Karsa is right here, and we see that Knight constantly is pushing in the mid lane. So still, despite that great play coming out from JDG, they have no way of finding anything. Maybe they rotate their bot lane up to Herald right now. They did just push it in, so they're not going to lose out on anything.
We're just watching a flying winged machine beat an old man with a stick. And right now, Zoom does have level 6, but 369, a level lead here after picking up the earlier kill. That means the Divine Judgment in hand. And he's turned into range, of course. That's what happens at 6. We're looking towards that 16 Bunker W moment where Kale does become a machine. I'm looking towards Herald right now, because JDG have started this one up, even with Karsa on the same side, 369. Adding some respect, an early objective to balance the odds here for JDG in game 1.
Yeah, and TS not able to do anything, not even in a position to really pressure on plates because Jackie Love still hadn't gone for reset, so did finally have to go do that and pick up that Mira mana. Oh, the Mana Mune, I'm sorry.
That's the one.
What's Mira mana? Yeah.
It will be, eventually.
Man, me and item names today. Actually, the first one was a rune.
That's okay. Hey, it's a Sunday, right?
It is a Sunday for us.
It is a Sunday.
Not a Sunday for everyone listening, but a Sunday for us.
Well, I mean, it's like Sunday morning for everyone listening. Is you should listen to this because Loken might be called out. He has Flash available, but 3 members moving to the top side is a great dark passage from Lumao. 3 people group up, but Top Esports have now completed the lane swap as 369 is moving bot.
Right now, game state going slow, and with that, you're very happy as TS. Still, 369 just getting to free. It's actually kind of funny that in our Trash Talk video, 369 said, you're going to sit in lane, do nothing while I move around the map and carry you. And then he ends up picking this Kale, which does have to just sit in lane and do nothing.
As we've seen before. Kanavi with the top side, though, we're going to pay attention here because the Kane does have himself an enhanced back or a push top. Decides to go back instead. Does he have warriors available? That's a good question. Nope. Sitting longsword on the fountain. There we go. Warriors now picked up. but no upgrade yet for the form for Kanavi.
I do want to see Kanavi just end up using that Herald to give plate gold to Loken. He really is going to be the big carry on your team. Yagao not going to have much threat and has actually been struggling in this laning phase, so the thing I love about Karsa is all he really has to do is match any pressure that's coming from Kanavi, so shadowing topside, expecting that same play.
Or exposing Knight, who's got a bit too far forward. Glacial Path is there, he gets out, turret shot finds its mark. Almost is how Knight dies there, but he manages to scurry away. Teleport almost back up as well.
And in the end, though, Hysterics almost doesn't mean anything. We look at the map, TS have pressure in both sides, so despite the fact that they force Knight out, they actually can't even drop that Herald or try to force any plates or move to a side lane play. TS's bot lane already moving mid.
Karsa does pick up the wave mid there as well. I just noticed that Mountain in 30 seconds will bring some attention. I want to correct myself because Kanavi not having upgrade at 10 minutes, quite normal, but we will continue to look over that over the next 5, especially if we're skirmishing around objectives, looking for those orbs to be taken. It's been a while. I miss seeing Kane on the Rift.
I don't.
You don't? You don't find him interesting?
I want to see Zach. I told you that already.
Yeah, that's actually a lot better. Does Kanavi play Zach?
No, it's not a Kanavi-style champion.
He's a Ning pick, as you talked about before. As JDG, they've moved their bottom lane back down here. 4 members exist in front of the Dragon. And here we go.
I mean, they're the ones that can dictate the fight, right? They have the engage. TS have the Kayle, which still isn't strong yet, but
they still want to start the engage. They've pulled in 1 member. Here comes Call the Forge God. Is the steal available? But no. Kane secures it, and that means for JDG, they're stuck in the pit. The range advantage. Top Esports give the Kayle another kill. And 369 now with his second. They don't care about the Dragon. They've found something great as Yugen looks for Kanavi, but Kanavi manages to slither away.
And TS just using the Dragon to get a better position on JDG in the fight. Of course, we'd want Yagao to have some sort of flanking position, but because TS are the ones aggressively coming in, Yagao having no actual setup to come from behind, and even all the vision, just look around the Dragon Pit. It's all TS's.
As teleport's going to be used here, we come back after the game stated. 369's picked up a bit of turret plating again. My takeaway from that is, every time Kayle gets a kill, I get a little bit more concerned for JDG.
I feel like that's a very good feeling to have.
But this is a decent play. Riftel going to go top side. Not many members exist as Jackie Love is...
Herald for Aphelios is there.
Yeah. And a Kane. But you don't care much about the Kane. He will share the gold. As Jackie Love should be able to defend this turret too.
Yep, so turret not going to end up going down in the end. It's actually going to give TS enough time to react. We already see Karsa heading up, but both Knight and Yagao are on their way as well.
Not really much to teleport there if they wanted to do that. Yagao going to spot him out and stop him. Just note across Summoner's Rift, while we do have a 0-4 Ornn and a 2-3 Kayle, we don't have first items up there, but we do have first items in jungle, in mid, and almost in the bottom lane. I say almost. Almost in mid 2 for Yagao. Infinity Edge coming first here for Loken, while that Manamune was picked up nice and early.
Just really big discrepancy in the mid lane right now. The fact that Knight is getting so many plates and Yagao hasn't touched his turret even once. The nice thing for TS is, as Karsa, you don't even have to hover around bot side. Like, the fact that 369 is even 2-0 and 3 is like a luxury.
Yeah.
It didn't need to happen, but that it did. He's fine. He's going to get to those item breakpoints even faster. And it's all about just covering your bot lane and farming up to that nice point, waiting for more neutral objectives, looking for fights like we just saw.
And you were talking about vision towards the objectives too. When you know where Kanavi is, for Karsa, it's a super easy game to hover around the other lanes. 369, you're getting a closer look as Zoom finally gets a bit more gold in his back pocket. He's also picked up Majora's Mask first, which is another good sign. But for 369, almost level 11, and almost with the Hextech Gunblade start. Should be here on the back, I think. He's got a bounty too.
I would guess, yep.
There it is.
There it is. And we already said how Ornn is very strong in these early trades, so hasn't had a rough time with 369. He has really just lost out in all of these skirmishes, but still, now he's going to start feeling the pain coming up from 369's Kayle.
Especially when that level 11's hit, which should be soon. He's had a level advantage pretty much all lane long. We'll keep an eye on the top right of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. But JDG setting up towards this top side where there is going to be the second Herald spawning. JDG here first, and 369 did just TP bot.
So this should be a free objective for JDG. Despite the fact that it's only a one-item Kayle, after the fact that TS had opted for that Dragon fight, I'd imagine that they would have opted for this Rift Herald as well, saying, hey, we don't care. Our comp, we've even talked about how all the ways it has of countering what JDG want to do, but instead saying, hey, this Herald doesn't matter. What's more important is just continuing to get gold onto 369.
And he gets the turret solo as well. Notice top of the screen, 3K gold lead here for Top Esports. Natural after what happened in the early game. But our next objective we look towards is that Infernal. JDG have already started stacking up as we're stacking mid kills here. Onto Yagao. Jackie walks on, flashes over the wall. And Yagao goes down 6-1.
And I love Yuyanja coming in from the other side to cut him off as well. So the thing I love about Kai'Sa, going back to Jackie Love, is it's such a playmaking AD carry coming out with your ultimate, so it really allows for these big highlight moments. And if you are a very confident, experienced player like Jackie Love is, we can expect to see a lot.
It suits his style of players. Kanavi might be caught out here. No ultimate available. Depth charge used. Kanavi has flashed away. Jungle priority given over, and you have 45 seconds until this Infernal spawns.
And we're at a point where from behind, Kayn not going to offer too much as a champion, right? You really are just damaged, right?
Yep.
You're like any other carry jungler. You don't provide any utility, any CC, so going to struggle to do anything from behind, to where Kai'Sa always going to be useful with the pillar, with the ultimate. And I don't see too many avenues for JDG to start accumulating an advantage for themselves.
Okay, fair point. Because if you give over objectives at this point in the mid-game where we start looking towards the Infernal and an Infernal Rift / Soul for Top Esports, this game's going to get even harder from there.
Like, realistically, you might look at JDG's comp and say, hey, this should outscale quite well. It's Ornn, it's Kayn, and it's Aphelios, but I don't feel like they'll ever be able to
set up.
Take over.
JDG might be caught out. Glacial Path is there. Knight locks down Lumao. Box down Golden as well, but Top Esports are engaging. There's a nice death sentence. It's called the Forge God for the re-engage, but the Divine Judgment keeps Knight alive as he's locked in place. It might not matter because out comes Yuyanja from the side, and that pierce down with the Glacial Tomb is the doom here for Loken, as now the rest of the team needs to get out of there. Top Esports is the flash over the wall from 369, and this Kayle is humongous. 4-0-3, and Top Esports are cleaning up JDG.
And Top Esports feels like they're going to have a very easy time just cleaning up the rest of this game. Going back to the point, without the fact that TS have all 3 lanes winning at this point, pushing, feels like JDG will never be able to get the setup to find any sort of pick that they would need coming out from this LeBlanc. In any straight-up front-to-back team fight, we've talked so many times about all the tools that TS's composition has to stop what JDG want to do.
And that was the first time we kind of saw them come together, but it was even one after one rather than starting it themselves. Top Esports takes such a big fight here in this first game. They've got the Infernal Soul, they've got a 5K gold lead, and we'll watch this beauty again.
And it's great because TS's comp has options to engage with the Nautilus and Lissandra. Does end up getting picked, but actually doesn't even need his own ult. Has the Kayle ult coming through. Then here is the great hook coming from Yuyanja, like you talked about. Easy pick onto Loken, and then he's all the damage in this composition right now, right? Kanavi fell behind. Yagao's just been losing lane, does have that white item power spike, but not going to be too useful in this sort of fight.
God, the Kayle has 2 more kills, Lyric. Level 12 on 369, and while this conversation in this game was going to be about, who's the better not better mid laner, but who is, the better team first or second, better top laner comes into it as well. And for 369 and Zoom, they're fighting over it as the mid turret going to be engaged on here. Yuyanja, golden in the nick of time, thanks to Call the Forge God. We're going to run through, and JDG may have found the pick, but the support gets out, flashes through. Yuyanja survives at the cost of the turret.
Still, I'd say that tower is more luxury gold for JDG really than opening up the map, creating any pressure or plays that are available to them.
Okay, this is a 19-minute, replay, so 18-minute transform into Rust.
Yeah, this game not having the best time.
The latest one we've seen in the LPL was actually Ning at 27 minutes, I believe.
So if Kayn does lose this match, we'll be 0-2 in competitive to start the week off.
Oh, no. Definitely not a good sign. As Top Esports pick up another turret. JDG picked up one before. It was their second turret of the game. Top Esports their third. Dragon in 3. Baron in 30 seconds. And Top Esports say, let's go on to Loken, who Might not be caught out, might be starting the engage. Jackie Love ults, but he's dead. Big shutdown. Over to Loken, and JDG might have found their window as it's a double kill, but getting traded off by Knight is not a good sign to return. Kanavi comes in as well, but for top esports, they've got their Kale. He's on to Zoom, hitting away. Yagao dies to him as well. Another double. My lord, a JDG in trouble.
Still starting off this fight with Loken. Loken is not this player we know as a superstar AD carry who's going to have the confidence to go for these plays, but he did. It looked beautiful. Was able to pick up a 3-for-3, which when you're behind, I'll say is pretty good to trade. Still, like
Kale,
you said,
bro.
2 more kills on the Kale.
I'd say it's good in any other situation, but the Kale now has Nash's tooth and 200 CS at 20 minutes. This is ultimate highlight being Kale.
Like I said, trading when you're the losing team should feel great. You should feel fine, but when you're up against this Kale, which could just easily threaten anything at this point. But let's take a look at Loken. Loken just having the confidence walking forward, knowing that they do have the numbers advantage here, but I still just love him walking forward, is sustaining, but does end up going down in the end tonight. Knight continues to go forward, locking down Luma and Kanavi. And you already talked about this Kale, just easily deleting Zoom, and then Yagao ends up right in front of him. He didn't even do anything to pick up the Yagao kill. It was just handed to him on a silver platter, but hey, TS will take it.
If you want one carry to have all your kills on, the Kale's a pretty nice spot as the Sheen gets picked up after that fight as well.
Here we are setting up how the Kale is meant to peel for the Kai'Sa, but we had it backwards the whole time.
And hey, Baron's being started here. JDG are going to know what's going on, but the damage that's coming out from this Kale Kai'Sa duo is so much as Kanavi trying to walk on in. He gets knocked on up and deleted by Jackulov. Top esports have a numbers advantage, so they turn for the fight as the Kale ulti locked on down on tonight. He survives at full health. A double this time for Jackulov. 369 picks up the Baron, and things go from bad to worse.
Sterix, it's hard for me to get excited.
Yes, sir.
We had a 6-0 Kale. These fights are going to be one-sided for the game to come. Still 6-0 Kale, 6-0-5 right now, on his way to a third item, and we probably won't even get there. They should be able to push down this inhibitor turret and the inhibitor with ease.
It felt like if JDG were going to have one moment in front of the Baron, that would be it. As top esports are running forward, and they could just end the game here in 22 minutes. Lumao gets low, forward they go, and that's a nice call the Forge got, and a double knock-up from Zoom. The defense strong, but Kai'Sa survives for so damn long. And remember, the most fed member in 369 is not there yet. Is Kanavi? Yeah, that was probably not the play, as top esports take him down, and at least JDG survived.
That definitely was not the play. Like you said, 369's not even there, but doesn't matter. TS are so far ahead. Right now, we're sitting almost at a 10,000 gold lead. Looks like they're going to be able to pick up the second Infernal as well. I don't expect us to see an Infernal solo this game, so...
How did JDG come back, if any play?
Can I be honest?
They don't. Okay.
they need.
So this is the GG go next, huh?
They need TS to walk into them, like one after the other. But actually, at this point, I feel like even if 369 walks into them by himself, he might be able to take 1 or 2 members down with him.
Oh man, he's done 32% of the team's damage at 23 minutes in the game. He's got a Lich Bane. And is he level 16? He's 1 level away.
One thing I liked that graphic showed us was we've been talking a lot about 369 for good reason, but Kai'Sa having another great performance, and even think about their last series against Rogue Warriors. Yeah. Sure, Knight was the ultimate carry in the end, but Kai'Sa had the amazing moments setting him up. Ever since Jackulov's come back into this team, Kai'Sa's going back to what I feel like is the best jungler in the world.
The RNG 2018 MSI performance that we know and love.
Even last year, where I feel like he was the best jungler in the world, it feels like we're seeing that Kai'Sa once again.
The one who played so well beside Uzi, but also, more importantly, the one who has so many titles to his names as Zoom is absolutely, use your own word here, as 369 is not the one to pick up the kill. Knight gets some of his own.
I do want to say this: there was no high society coming out this game.
No, the high society is the level 16 Kale, which, if you didn't think the game was over before then, it sure is now. 16 kills to 5, and this is the deathbed of JDG for game 1.
Not much more to say.
Knight's going to ult on in. Well, Jackulov's going to kill him, and everyone falls to the wayside as Jackulov now gets some kills of his own. This was a stomp by top esports. It wasn't slow and steady wins the race. It was who can get the most kills. And in the end, it is 369ers onto the Nexus. They'll go to the fountain for the dive. It's a nice death sentence, but really for JDG in game 1, it was their death first.
You know, I feel like the pre-video to the match was all just debate. 369 saying like, hey, I'm gonna draft something that's gonna constantly move, create pressure on their